Good morning. Okay. Today, I wanted to make a video because about 2 weeks ago, I was on a live chat with Miss Boricua, Miss Jeanette Boricua from Boricua Sewing and Crafts, as that's the name of her channel. So I might go ahead and YouTube that video down. Attach that video down below in the description. And what she was talking about was buyer beware when in the market for a multi-needle commercial machine. And she wasn't saying anything like you shouldn't buy one. She was just talking about all the everything to look for, like issues that you may run into when it comes to buying a commercial machine. And a lot of the people had some good points that they made on that chat, and she made some good points herself. But I felt like there wasn't enough of a representation from people who actually own multi-needle commercial machines. There were a couple of people, but I felt attacked. No, I'm just kidding. It's not that serious, but I just felt that there wasn't enough people who actually own the multi-needle commercial machines to give an opinion. So I felt that some of the comments were a little misguided. So I want to make a video to address some of those things that were said in the chat, and also with that, I wanted to go ahead and make a video of this is a 6 month anniversary of owning my MELCO EMT16X. So I just kind of wanted to give a review and tell you about my personal experience as a beginner. I am a beginner. I started 8 months ago in late June. And you can take my opinion or my experience with a grain of salt. I don't have a lot of experience. I only have experience on 2 machines. That one is the SE600, and then the other one is my MELCO. And I have nothing else to compare to. Also, I am not paid by MELCO, not a cent. I'm not an affiliate. No one sponsors me from MELCO, anything like that. So this is not one of those opinions where, MELCO's great and this and that. But with that, let me see. Let me look at my little notes here. Okay, we'll go into how I started. And I know a lot of people started sewing when the pandemic started happening, and that's when I started sewing. Basically sewing masks. We needed them, so they had to be made. And I had a sewing machine, but my sewing machine was pretty old, about 17 years old. Nothing wrong with old sewing machines, but that one was it wasn't cutting it. It was just like the most basic machine, not a very good one, the Singer. And and so I went ahead and I thought that I would upgrade. And all I was looking for was a sewing machine. I wasn't looking for an embroidery machine, but I just happened to run across a sewing / embroidery machine. It had two capabilities there. So I just thought it would be interesting. I was like, that seems like something cool, something that I would like to try. So I went ahead and I got that machine. And I don't remember. I'm trying to remember what the first project that I printed out on that machine was. I don't know if it was. I think it was. There was a design that I was like super excited to try and sew out and make a mask out of, and it was a BLM design. So a lot of you who actually know me know what happened. I made the mask, my first time really embroidering anything, And I was so excited and proud of my mask, and I posted it on social media. I posted on Facebook, I posted on Instagram, and whoa, it pretty much like took off. You know, everybody wanted the mask and everybody was asking me about it. And you know, first of all, I didn't really even know how to embroider. I was just learning, and I didn't know how to put out a lot of product at a quick, and you know, with a quick turnaround. And I just didn't know any of that. I didn't know how to do it. But I tried my best, and I did a pretty good, I think I did a pretty good job. But I started getting more, you know, requests from people wanting to do different types of, they wanted different types of things besides masks. And this is where I started figuring, like, okay, really quickly, I knew that I needed something more than my one needle, you know, small embroidery machine. So I started looking into other machines, and I found like a Janome 5-needle machine, and I really couldn't find anything negative or positive about that machine. So I kind of was like, oh, 5 needles, you know, that would help a lot, you know, for my sewing, you know, sewing masks. But then I started thinking to myself, like, okay, right now I'm sewing masks. I started thinking future wise, like if I do, you know, start a business, I was like, I'm only sewing masks now, but maybe I should look for a machine that can pretty much embroider anything. You know, if there are other types of projects, bigger projects that I want to tackle in the future, larger as in amount of products, maybe I should look for a bigger machine. So I went on and I started looking at the 10-needle brother machine. 10-needle brother machine by itself is about like 11,000, could be a little bit more or less depending on where you're looking, and that is really just for the machine. You may or may not get accessories included with the machine, but a lot of times you don't, and you end up having to pay the $11-ish thousand, and then you have to buy a table for it to sit on, then you have to buy extra hoops and hat driver, whatever accessories come, you know, that go with it, you're probably going to need to pay extra. So I was thinking that's a lot of money, you know, for a home-based embroidery machine. So I started hearing a lot about commercial machines. And at first I was just like, wow, like commercial machine, that's going to be so expensive. Like I shouldn't even look at that. But then I started realizing, you know, the more I looked, the more I started realizing that a lot of them were cheaper. So I forgot about the home-based machine. I started doing my research into commercial machines. So I looked at a few, and I looked at MELCO, and I was like, well, MELCO's kind of expensive, you know, but in reality, it costs just as much as a 10-needle machine. Came with more, though, came with more accessories included, and costs as the same as a 10-needle machine. MELCO has 16 needles. But I didn't look at MELCO. I didn't like decide on MELCO right away. I kept looking around to see if I can find something else that was, you know, a little cheaper. But eventually I did go ahead and settle on my MELCO. I think I was pretty happy with it. Let me tell you some of the things that, let me look at my notes here. Some of the things that actually helped me decide were really the pricing, of course. So with MELCO, I'm going to put my receipt somewhere around here. With MELCO, I ended up paying $14,100 and some change, something like that. But I got the machine, I got the cart that it sits on. I got 4 hoops, including 3 mighty hoops with it. I got the extension arms for the larger hoops added on. I got the fast clamps. I got the digitizing software. What else? I got hat drivers, and it comes with a 6-year warranty, which is another good thing. So those were all included in the price that I paid, and you can negotiate, so don't be afraid to negotiate price and accessories thrown in there. Another thing that I looked at was the fact that like Nike and Disney have used these machines. So for me, I thought that was good credibility for the machine right there when you have larger corporations that use the machines. Another thing that you want to look at, I think this one is actually really important. If you can, the resell or trade in. If other companies that you can, like if other companies will buy your machine back, say, you know, things change in your future and you want to sell your machine or you want to trade it, are there companies that are going to buy it or trade for you? And with some machines, they would just flat out they will not accept them they won't buy them, they won't let you trade them for whatever reason. That was something that I looked at, and MELCO was pretty much widely accepted. There's something else. I'll go ahead and insert another photo here. You can pause it and look at it. But, you know, it may vary from company to company as far as buyback, or not buybacks, but buying and trading your machine. So you might want to look into that. Also, I think that if they don't buy your machine, then I think that's very telling. I think for me, I would not buy a machine that other companies are not willing to buy or trade. Another thing was it's local. So it's like, you know, nothing wrong with buying foreign machines. I'm sure they have their own system. Some companies have their own system set up to help their customers, but you know, MELCO's US based local company. So if you need a technician, they can get one out to you, which was another thing that I liked. It was just a comfort level for me. Some of y'all may not need that. One thing that I did not like at first was the fact that you do need a separate PC to hook up to your MELCO in order for you to operate it. I did not like that in the beginning, but now that I'm using the system that way, I actually really do like it. And I'll probably make a separate video about that. Just wanted to point that out. Okay, so those are the things that I looked at that helped me decide on the MELCO. I went ahead, signed the paperwork, got my MELCO, and then when they come and deliver it, it's a nice little delivery service. They come, they bring the truck, they bring your machine inside, they carry it inside, they do all the heavy lifting, they don't leave it in a box, you know, somewhere for you to set it up. They do that for you, which is nice too. That's included with the price of delivery. Okay, so I'm laughing because I'm looking at my notes, and the next thing I want to talk about is user error once you get your machine. So I went from a single needle machine, like the cheapest basic embroidery machine, SE600. In 2 months, I jumped all the way to a 16 needle commercial machine, and let me tell you about that learning curve, boy. Oh, I struggled. And this is a thing, you really don't have to struggle. It's my fault. They do offer training. You do have to pay extra for the training. You might, if you can get it thrown into your little package, negotiate that too. But I was just like, well, you know, I got no problems. Like, I'll figure this out. And I did eventually, but it was hard, you know. So and the thing that I realized and that I understood through my learning process is that almost all the problems that I had or will have is because of my own user error. It's something that I don't know how to do. So, like, for instance, so funny. I stayed up all night one night with my machine because, you know, I just thought it was broken. And I was getting thread breaks on every needle, and it would start, thread break, like every freaking needle. I stayed up all night trying to like figure out what was wrong with it. And basically I started watching one of the MELCO videos. MELCO actually offers a bunch of videos on how to maintenance your machine, all kinds of videos, troubleshooting, whatever. So I went online and I actually found a troubleshooting video. They have a YouTube channel, and the problem with it was that so small, so simple, is that my needle orientation was off. I was putting the needles in and they were facing straight. That's why I was putting them in, but that's wrong. Like if you're facing your MELCO, the needles need to be slightly 5 degrees to the right when it's facing you. So once I corrected that problem, the machine was fine, you know, as opposed to like thinking I broke the whole machine. Just something like that. And there were some of those situations, you know, and during that time, I could have taken the opportunity to go online and make YouTube videos about how MELCO is a terrible company and this machine is bad. And really, you know, it was my own user error. But I've seen that, you know, I've seen people do that, and it's because they don't know how to use the machine. You know, and as time has gone on, I'm having fewer and fewer of those problems. I'm not going to say I know, you know, what I'm doing now. I figure like you still don't know everything, no matter how long you've been doing embroidery. But yeah, that's just a point that I wanted to throw out there is that learning curve is real. Okay. So another thing that I wanted to tack on to that was the customer service, and tech support. So the customer service and the tech support is actually pretty good in my own experience. Again, during the time that I was having some problems, like you can call tech support and you talk to someone. They pretty much stayed on the phone with me for a while till the problem was corrected. Also, I had a situation with my, I'm sorry, I'm not picking my nose is itching. I had a situation with my software. I was on a trial period. My trial period ended and I was locked out of the software. I couldn't log in. So I needed to use my software, needed to get to work that evening. So customer service was closed, tech support was closed. So by chance, I think it was probably like 7-ish. So I I texted my sales, the guy who sold me the machine. And this is a thing, like I do have his phone number. So I text him and I asked him, told him I had a problem. So he's in sales. He doesn't have to help me. You know, he's not in tech support or anything, but he did. He got a tech support person to go ahead and reset my password, and I got back in. So, you know, even in that area, I mean, I still had someone to help me with my issue, which was really good. Also, let me see. Okay, so I'm back. Okay, something else that I kind of wanted to, hold on. Okay, so talking about the user errors and I guess the customer support and stuff like that, there was a comment that was left in the chat that I'll read it to you and then I'll respond to it. Oops. I'll read it to you and then I will respond to it. It says, what I feel sorry about is that all you hear on a lot of these channels is about them promoting their machines, and some of them feel like you have to run and get one in order to succeed. Okay, so I feel like, okay, there's a point to that. There is a point. But I feel like that is a misguided comment based on, some misinformation there. I'll tell you the reason why I ran out and got one. And I already actually told you, is really, I just felt like it was pretty silly for me to go out and buy a home-based machine and pay the same price for that machine with fewer accessories. It's a lesser machine, instead of buying a commercial machine for the same price or less. So why would I buy a inferior machine, like for a higher price? I mean, that just did not. That's why I ran out and got one. And on that same note, really, success is measured differently. You can be successful, like I was successful in my one needle SE600. You can definitely do a lot with that and be really successful on that. That's still success. On the other hand, if you want to be successful in you putting out more product, making more profit, you kind of have to go run out and buy a machine that has the capability of producing more products at a faster time frame. So you do have to run out and get you a bigger machine for that if you want to be successful on that level. So I mean, that's I don't know, but I just wanted to address that comment, because it's not people just running out and buying machines because people told you. Some people may be doing that, but really a lot of research went into me making my final decision on the machine that I wanted to purchase. Let's see. And again, on that note, actually, I'm looking at my notes, obviously. So, I also, during that chat, I kind of made a comment to Miss Boricua that your comfort level may be crippling your ability to, or your opportunity to grow as a business. And I feel like if you get another 6 needle machine and you have a larger order, or not even a larger order, let's be modest and say you have 30 shirts, and you the design that you need has 7 colors. You have 2 6 needle machines, you're doing 15 on each machine, and you're going to need to do color changes twice for each shirt on each machine. So, that time is money, and that's a lot of time wasted doing that. So, that's going to lower your production, that it's going to reduce the amount of shirts that you finish in a day. So you ask me, like, if that's really like hurting your opportunity to grow. And I'm just giving you an example. Like, I think so. I definitely think so. And even like the Christmas stockings, I'm not sure how the Christmas stockings are done on the 6 needle machine, but even if you have a single needle machine, a lot of people, what I see all the time is people ripping up those stockings, embroidering those stockings, and then sewing them back together. So I feel like if you have a business, and on my machine, I know you can just hook them up to some clamps and embroider that cuff, and then that's it, move on to the next one. And it can be a quick process. But if you're sewing up stockings back and forth, embroider them, sewing up, and taking them apart, sewing them back up, how many stockings can you really get done in a day? You can get enough done, I'm sure, but you can get a lot more done, when you don't have to do that. So that's another way that you could be crippling your profits and your production. Just examples I'm giving. Also, there was a comment made about the embroidery machine costing the same price as a car, and definitely, yes, you can buy a car for that price. One thing to consider, I was thinking about that because it was just so expensive, but one thing I just kept telling myself is that with the machine, with an embroidery machine, you're making money. You can make money every day. You can replace your entire salary. So it's just like, a car is not gonna do that for you unless you're buying it for good business purposes, or unless you're like doing Uber or something like that. But you know, most of the time people are not buying their car for that reason. But just that's something I had to tell myself. This is an investment, and it's bringing me money. Let me see. I think that's pretty much it for the video. As far as me going out and maybe buying another commercial embroidery machine, I may do that. If I do, will I buy MELCO? I may buy MELCO. I'm happy with my MELCO. Are there better machines? Probably. I'm sure there are. I'm not telling, my thing is, I'm not trying to convince anyone to buy a commercial embroidery machine. I'm just giving my opinion and my experience about it. I'm not telling you what brand to buy. You buy whatever brand suits your needs. Just make sure that you do the research, that you are spending your money wisely, and that that machine hopefully will last you for years, decades, hopefully, and you know, will bring you that money back in. That is the most important thing. And the purpose of the video is actually to make a wise decision based on the research that you've done. Hopefully I can come back in 5 years and tell you I still love my MELCO. I don't know. I see that a lot of people have their machines for years and years and years. But you know, I'm not here to tell you what type of machine to buy, what brand to buy, how much money to spend. That's going to depend all on your own personal needs. But with that said, I think that's it, and I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, and don't forget to subscribe. Mwah.